It's easy when you play with a bunch of rejects and fat kids, Rodriguez.
Shut your mouth, Phillips.
What'd you say, crap face? I said you shouldn't even be allowed to touch a baseball. Except for Rodriguez, you're all an insult to the game. Come on! We'll take you on right here, right now! Come on! Yeah. Right now! We play on a real diamond, Porter. You ain't good enough to lick the dirt off our cleats. Watch it, jerk. Shut up, idiot. Moron! Scab eater. Butt sniffer. Pus licker. Fart smeller. You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek. You mix your weenies with your mama's toe jam. Yeah! You bob for apples in the toilet, and you like it. You play ball like a girl.
That might be our favorite intro we've ever done. I love The Sandlot. Thank you guys so much for checking us out today. This is Hardball Sports Talk. My name is Brandon. Joining me, like always, is my good friend Alex. Alex, how are you today?
Would you say crap face?
I said you play ball like a girl.
That's probably one of my favorite lines in that movie.
My
Ahoy,
favorite
ahoy, Brandon! I'm doing good right now. Excited about our top 10 movies here.
Yep. If you couldn't figure this one out, we are finishing our movie ranking series. I figured we both it's safe to say we both have The Sandlot in our top 10 movies. So I figured let's do a Sandlot cold open. So that's what we did. A couple things real quick. If I sound different and my background is a little bit different, and that background's different too. But I am watching the Tigers game right now, and the way my office is set up, I can't see the TV. So I am in the living room watching the Tigers today. So it might sound a little different. It might look a little different, but it's just for tonight because I'll figure out something else for different games. But I wanted to watch tonight's game. So
Hey, baseball's back, so.
and baseball is back. It is 0-0 in the sixth. I can't really do play-by-play. We'll get in trouble for that, so we're not going to do that. But the Tigers finally just got their last hit in the top of the sixth, and Reese Olson just got pulled after 5 2/3 of really good baseball. So hopefully the bullpen can come in and do what the bullpen's been doing this year. We'll talk more about the Tigers here in the next couple episodes, though. Today, though, like we said, is the top 10 movies. We're finishing the movie ranking series. Before we even get started on tonight's episode, I'm going to give you guys a warning right now. We are not serious people. So you're going to hear some movies. I'm assuming from both of us that you're like, really? You're going to put that in your top 10 sports movies? Yes, we are. And if you don't like it, make your own sports movie ranking. And we won't judge you if you don't judge us. That's all we ask. We're not serious guys. We like the dumber movies. You might see that a little bit, but there's also some movies that I think you'll respect. So, but with that being said, my number 10 movie is one of those movies that you're like, really, you have that in your top 10? And that is the original Mighty Ducks movie. I love the original Mighty Ducks movie. It's not my favorite of the Mighty Ducks movies, so I'll give you guys a little teaser right there. But basically, the premise of it is Gordon Bombay is a hotshot lawyer who gets a DUI, has to do some volunteer work, community service, takes over a Pee Wee hockey team, that District 5, absolutely brutal of a hockey team, and somehow turns them into a state champion Pee Wee hockey team. It's a fun movie. If you've never seen it, it's on Disney Plus. I highly recommend you go watch it. It's just a fun movie. We quote it all the time. We quote all three Mighty Duck movies all the time. So, but yeah, that is my number 10 movie is the Mighty Ducks.
It's a great movie, Brandon. Coming in number 10 for me, this movie is about two guys who want to create a sports because they're kind of lazy. Not lazy, they're not good. They don't want to do a lot of movement, so they come up with this sport called basketball. I believe it was Brandon's honorable mention. So basically, these guys, again, like I said, kind of want to do their own thing. They create this phenom called basketball. Basketball and baseball mixed together. Not a lot of movement. Mess with people's heads. I love that movie. And it's a good movie. It's definitely a top 10 movie, Brandon. It's not an honorable mention. Now, don't get me started, all right?
It is a fun movie. I will say that. It's not appropriate at all. So if you're not No, it is by the guys who made South Park. So that'll
Yeah.
tell you right there what you need to know about that movie. Very funny movie though. I have nothing against that movie. It's a great movie. Good laugh and stuff like that. And actually, we found it later on in life. I think it was probably last 10 years or so. We found that movie, and we absolutely loved it the first time we watched it. And I don't know if you were with me, but I tried playing basketball. I don't know if you ever tried it with me though.
I don't think I was ever did, but I feel like I remember you telling me you did that.
Yeah. What is your number 9 movie?
Number 9, I believe you had this one on your list too. Um, it's definitely one of my favorite football movies. Little Giants. Yeah, I said it. Little Giants. Um, basically premises Rick Moranis character plays the younger brother, and he wants to create a team for guys that don't really fit the narrative of football players. But he wants them to have fun, and he knows they can beat him that one time. Um, like I said, John Madden makes a cameo in it. I'm trying to remember. I think Emmett Smith maybe makes a cameo. It's a great movie. Again, one of those stupid funny movies that we like, but the premise of it is pretty good.
I wouldn't call Little Giants a stupid movie, to be honest with you. I think it's more of the 90s Mighty Ducks rags to riches story, like the underdog story. I think it's more of that. I don't think it's a stupid movie. This one categorizes into both of those categories. My number 9 movie is both. You could consider it a stupid movie, and you could also consider it one of those rags to riches kids movies. And that is Give Him the Cheese, Give Him the High, Stinky, Cheddar. And that is, of course, Rookie of the Year. Premise of the movie is absolutely insane. Basically, little Henry Rowan Gardenhoser, whatever you want to call him. If you're the Cubs skipper, you don't know his name either. But he, Gardenhoser, breaks his arm, and he's in a cast all summer, and then his tendons get all lined up funky, and he can throw a 100-mile-per-hour fastball now. And the Cubs find him, and because he goes to a Cubs game, and John Candy has a role in this movie, and he's my favorite John Candy line in any movie is, I just figure out why the Cubs lose every year. They have more talent in the fans than they do in the field. Great line right there. Yeah, it's a fun movie. If you haven't seen it yet, it's a good laugh. It's got one of the Wet Bandit brothers from Home Alone. He's the pitching coach. It's just a fun movie altogether. Gary Busey, just some random people in these movies. Probably the most random, honestly, group of people for a movie we could have on our list. But yeah, go check out Rookie of the Year. It's a great movie. Number 8. Let me see what I got here. I have the other Mighty Ducks movie. We have D2, the Mighty Ducks. I like D2 more just because I think I watched it first, to be honest with you. I actually remember watching that one before the first one. I might not have, but I'm just telling you, I have more memories from the second one growing up. But the premise of this one is the Ducks are back. They are in the Junior Goodwill Games, which is basically the Olympics for teenagers or tweens, if you want, whatever you want age group bracket they're in. And they're playing for Team USA. They're trying to beat the big bad nation of Iceland because apparently in this universe, Iceland has a dominant hockey team. And not Canada. Like literally, they have Trinidad and Tobago and not Canada in this tournament. I think Canada might be mentioned like on a screen or something like that. But
Yeah,
like you never actually see it in Canada hockey gameplay, which is absolutely hilarious. Because when you think hockey, you think of Canada, Russia, Sweden, Finland, America, and pretty much the only one of those countries is the US of A. So that's kind of ironic. But anyways, the Ducks come back and they had to play Iceland. And yeah, it's just again one of those fun 90s sports movies for the kids. What is your number 8?
my number 8 is also D2. Canada does make an appearance on like a still frame. And I believe the headline is Canada upsets Iceland in 2-1. or something like that. So it forces Iceland and the Ducks to face each other in the championship game, which is pretty funny. But yeah, like you said, I like this one too. I like that they added new Ducks to come in. You got Julie the Cat, the star goaltender who doesn't really show off until the end of the game, which is questionable coaching. Cool goaltender comes in to win the game. But then you got Dean Portman, and that's probably one of the best characters in this movie because he's a big bad enforcer. You know, we got a lot in common. Anyways, that's D3. That's different. Anyways, yeah, that's my number 8 movie. Like you said, I love that.
We really need to do a Mighty Duck series where we're just talking about the movies and just breaking everything down, because me and you, we have a lot of thoughts about those movies, and
yeah,
we should really do that sometime. It'd be fun.
Not to nitpick it, but you have your captain as a coach in the championship game, which makes no sense. But
no,
what do I know? He's not even the best player on the team. Anyways, moving on. Number 7.
He's a third line center.
See, we need to have it because
we need to have an episode.
We will debate this. We will debate this. Moving on to number 7. This is probably another great baseball movie that I enjoy. It's got Christopher Lloyd in it.
Oh, we have the same one at number 7.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
All right, and then it's got a very young. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes, thank you. And Danny Glover's in it as the great George Knox. And there's a thing called talent, and they don't have any until this kid who's in this foster care is praying to the Lord above that if the angels were independent, then him and his dad could become one again. So he does. Christopher Lloyd's character comes down, says, yeah, here I am. Let's see what we can make this happen. You got Mel Clark in there. You got Hemmerling for Mitchell, who needs to go back to Cincinnati. So that's another one. No, it's a great movie, though. I have that as my number 7 movie.
Yeah, like I said, I have that number 7 too, Angels in the Outfield. Just another movie from the 90s that I absolutely loved growing up. I still watch it from time to time. It's a fun movie. Again, if you're going to sit here and criticize movies and take everything way too seriously, don't watch Angels in the Outfield, because there's probably a lot of plot holes in it, and there's probably a lot wrong with it. But I guess if you're looking for realism of baseball, Angels in the Outfield is also not in this category. Another person, though, that you didn't mention in this movie, the starting right fielder for the Angels is none other than Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
And
very young. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of their pitchers was played by Tony Danza, Mel Clark. So it's a star-powered movie. For a 90s kid movie, it's got a lot of star power in it.
It's also got what's his name, who usually plays a villain. Go ahead, keep going. I'll look it up. I can't think of his name right now.
Well, the character's name, if you're talking about it, I think you are. It's Ranch Wilder, the announcer.
Nope. It's the pitcher Bass, who checks. Okay. He checks again. And he talks about Jose. Wait, the song is about a Spanish
guy. Yeah, I have no idea who that actor is, but yeah, the coach or the announcer Ranch Wilder, he was also in not Little Big League, The Big Green, which was a movie that I don't believe either one of us talked about at all throughout this series. That's another fun movie right there, The Big Green. And he's also in JFK. And so did you figure out who it is yet?
Yeah, it's Neil McDonough.
Okay.
He plays in a lot of them. He's in Yellowstone, probably one of the most recent ones. He usually ends up playing a villain in his movies. Very rarely is he a good guy. But yeah, I always enjoy his character in this movie.
So I have the Tigers on right now. I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here. Jake Rogers just hit a ball down the first base line, and they called it a foul ball, but Angels Hernandez is the first base umpire. So I have not seen a camera angle, to be honest with you, yet. but
Yeah.
I'm going to say it was a fair ball just because it's Angel Hernandez making the call.
More than likely, yes, you would be correct.
So I've actually wrote these down. The Mighty Duck movies, they're both on Disney Plus. Rookie of the Year and Angels in the Outfield. They're not on any major streaming service right now. But hopefully Angels in the Outfield will end up on Disney Plus because it is a Disney movie. So
All right. Back on
yep.
track here. Did you do your number 7?
Yeah, we were both the Angels in the Outfield at number 7.
Okay. So you're number 6, right?
So number 6, I have a confession to make for you guys. When I made this movie ranking series, I made a list of movies and I sent them to Alex. And then after I sent the list, I made my ranking off this list. Alex texted me back, a day or two later, if that, and said, "Hey, you're forgetting a movie." I go, "What movie am I forgetting?" He goes, "Remember the Titans." Oh yeah, can't have a sports movie ranking without Remember the Titans in it. So yeah, Remember the Titans went from not even on the list to number 6 because of I forgot about it. But basically, it's got Denzel Washington. He's a football coach. They're doing segregation, or not segregation. They're combining a black school and a white school. It's a drama. It's a really important movie. It's early 2000s, late 90s in that time frame. The story takes place in the 70s, though. It's based on a true story of a school in Virginia. It's a really heavy story. It's a really good story. If you have not seen it yet, I recommend you go out and watch it because it's a really good movie. It's available to watch on Disney Plus also. Actually, out of my top 10, I'll be honest with you, 5 of my top 10 are on Disney Plus, actually. So that was not planned, though, I promise. What is your number 6, I believe we're on?
Funky butt lovin' is probably the greatest line in that movie. It is Rookie of the Year. You basically covered it all. But again, that's probably one of my favorite lines. Did he just say funky butt lovin'? And another classic line is that play legal? Basically Rowan Gardner throws the ball out of the stadium. And everyone kind of looks at him weird. But yeah, another Disney movie that we enjoy. Classic movie. Is it Disney movie? I can't remember. Yeah, you're muted. So whatever. We're moving on.
It's not Disney. I don't know who made it, but it's not
probably
Disney.
Warner Brothers then.
Yeah, I have no idea.
My guess. Anyways, Rookie of the Year, my number 6 movie. Now we're into our top 5 movies here. And what better way to have a top 5 movie than with one Mr. Happy Gilmore as a top 5 movie, and that's right. Yeah, a great movie again. It's basically Adam Sandler plays this guy who believes he's a hockey player, tries out, misses the team a bunch of times, ends up hitting golf balls really far, gets on the tour. Fun fact, there's a rumor out there that Happy Gilmore 2 is in production right now.
I've heard that.
I believe Wednesday might be the official announcement because if you listen to the Dan Patrick Show, you know that Dan Patrick and Adam Sandler are good friends, and he's having them on the show on Wednesday to talk about it if it's officially official. So yeah, Happy Gilmore is my number 5 movie. I love that movie. A lot of great quotes in there. And Ben Stiller's character is probably the best. He plays an evil, I guess, assistant nurse or whatever you want to call him. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know what his title would be at that nursing home place.
But yeah, I love that guy and his character. That's my number 5 movie.
All right, so we went on a completely different angle, I think, starting now. My number 5 movie, I think you had in your 30s, to be completely honest with you.
More than likely.
Because, yeah, I mean, I know you had it lower than I was expecting it to be, and that is 42, the Jackie Robinson movie. It's basically just his biopic of Jackie Robinson, his rookie year of Major League Baseball. It's another movie that I really enjoy. And actually, they were just showing a little clip on the Tigers game that the Tigers players, they're playing the Mets right now, and they went to a museum in Brooklyn with Jackie Robinson and Ebbets Field and stuff like that. So kind of good timing for that. But yeah, I have 42 at number 5. My number 4 is another baseball movie. My top 5 is baseball heavy. Actually, my top 10 is baseball heavy. My number 4 is Moneyball, which is the story very. So I'm gonna trash the movie for a second here. It's a great movie, okay? So I'm not gonna trash the movie per se. I'm more
Get
gonna
it in your
trash the.
top 10.
I'm gonna trash the book. We'll trash the
Okay.
book.
There you go. That's probably better to say that.
Yeah, we'll trash the book. So the book and movie are based on the 2002, I believe, Oakland A's. I believe that's the year.
I believe
Somewhere
you're
in
right.
that range. So the premise of it is basically the Oakland A's lost Jason Giambi, their star closer, and one other player. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head.
I believe it was Mark McGuire.
No, Mark McGuire was early 90s. But anyways, so
Did you say
they
Johnny
lost
Damon?
Johnny Damon, that's who it was.
Okay.
So yeah, they lose these 3 stud players, and they basically got to figure out how to survive without them. So the premise of it is they go out and find these players that the rest of the industry finds faults in, and so they get guys who can get on base but might not be the quickest on their feet, or might not be the greatest of defenders, or whatever the case may be, but they get on base, or they have a weird delivery when they're pitching. There was okay, so again, this is on the book, not necessarily the movie, because the book is the source material here. There is a few players that are missing from the book / movie. And that would be the AL MVP of 2002, Miguel Tejada. That would be the starting pitching for the Oakland Athletics. I believe they had Barry Zito. They had a couple other guys. Who else was on that staff? I don't remember.
I was hoping you'd bring that up. But yeah, the starting pitching was the one that kind of bothered me. I'll look it up for you.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this isn't on the movie. This is on the book. So the movie itself, it's got Chris Pratt playing first baseman. Oh, my goodness. What's his name? Wow. Drawing a blank there. Hattenberg. Scott Hattenberg. Yeah, thank you. And we talked about this actually a couple weeks ago because Bryce Harper is converting to first base for the Phillies. And we referenced a scene where Brad Pitt's character is talking to Chris Pratt's character and goes, first base isn't that easy or isn't that hard. Tell him, Wash. And Ron Washington, who was the first base coach, I believe, or third base coach with the A's at the time, said it's extremely hard. So, yeah, it's a fun movie, though. Star power. You got Jonah Hill playing a composite character. You got, like I said, Brad Pitt. And our good friend John Minch is also in this movie, too. He was the bench coach for the late Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. So it's a really fun movie and a good story. But and again, this isn't necessarily a knock on the movie. It's just the book and the movie both, but more so the book. They didn't really tell the whole story with that team because that team was loaded that year. Did you find out look up the rest of the pitchers for that staff?
It was the big 3 was Mark Mulder, Tim Hudson, and Barry Zito.
Yeah.
So I think Zito was the only one mentioned, and that's when Brad Pitt's character is walking through the clubhouse, I think he was going to go talk to Justice. He talks about Zito speed up the curveball or something. I can't remember, but he very briefly mentions one of the pitchers, and then he moves on. So that's about the only interaction of the pitchers, which is crazy because that pitching staff.
Yeah, that's an elite pitching staff. And again, that's nothing against the movie. Like, the movie is a good movie. That's just more of Brandon, the baseball fan, being really nitpicky right now. That's what that is.
No, Brandon would never be nitpicky about that.
No, not that at all. So now it is your turn. I believe you are on number 4 now.
Yeah, number 4. Brandon played this in the beginning of the movie. Sandlot I have as my number 4 movie. It's a great movie. Basically, this kid Smalls moves into this neighborhood. Barely plays baseball. In fact, I don't even think he plays baseball. Maybe tosses it around a couple times with his stepdad, I believe. Anyways, he sneaks onto the field, this backyard field with the team of 7 guys. And basically learns how to play baseball. Ends up getting into the biggest pickle of his not his life, but big pickle in the movie.
I mean, it might be the biggest pickle of his life. That's a pretty big pickle to get into.
That's true. He ends up using his stepdad's signed baseball because back in the day, you know, baseballs cost money. Basically, I'm ruining all this because I totally forgot to mention there's this giant wall. Balls go over this house. No one goes over there because of this big dog and this grumpy old guy who doesn't want any visitors. So they're out scrambling for a ball. Smalls basically says, "Hey, I have a ball." Goes and gets this signed baseball by some girl named Baby Ruth. And the character and the rest of the guys are like, "You mean Babe Ruth?" Yeah, that's her. Yeah, so they had to end up getting the ball back. Again, great movie though. I really love this movie.
I have it coming up, so I have a fun fact about this movie that I don't know if you know, but I will share that when it is my turn for that movie.
I'll say you'll have a better explanation. Moving on to number 3 for me. I have the Mighty Ducks original number 1 movie. Like Brendan said, Gordon Bombay, hotshot lawyer, gets in trouble, has to do community service, doesn't like hockey, doesn't like kids, but he was this all-star prospect kid growing up. It was his love for hockey. Yeah, it's a great movie. I enjoyed the comedy of it. It's definitely a comedy, stupid, silly comedy. None of it makes sense if you actually think about the hockey, especially the flying V, because it's basically interference and offsides all at the same time. Because you can't really run into everyone.
And it only takes one defender to stop that too.
Yeah, one guy can just Anyways, we're not here to nitpick that movie because again, it's in our top 10 movie, and we love those movies. So that's my number 3.
We are going to end up doing a series on the Mighty Ducks because, I mean, this is 3 times now in this episode alone that we have basically almost gone on that rabbit trail. So we are going to do a Mighty Ducks series for you guys at some point. I don't know when, but we will work that one out. My number 3 movie is arguably, I don't know if it'd be it's up there with one of the more famous baseball movies of all time. It's got a weird premise of a guy hearing voices and building a baseball field in his cornfield, and all of his neighbors think he's crazy. And of course, that is Field of Dreams. It's a absolute great movie. It's a tearjerker. Yeah, and actually, they left the field up when they were done moving or shooting the movie. Kevin Costner, who was the star of the movie, told the owners, he's like, "Hey, there's something special here. How about you just keep this up and see what happens?" And to this day, hundreds and thousands of people travel to Iowa for reasons they don't know. I almost actually played that clip for the intro, but I knew that you already said Field of Dreams, so I tried to think of a movie that I knew for sure that both of us would have on our top 10. So that's why I went with The Sandlot. But yeah, Field of Dreams, absolute great movie. If you have not seen it yet, it is available to watch on Amazon Prime right now. My number 2 movie. Alex just talked about it, The Sandlot. I don't have a whole lot to add to The Sandlot besides, again, the premise of the movie is kids hit a baseball over a giant wall and try to get the ball back, but there's a crabby old guy behind the wall, so they can't go on the property, or they assumed it was a crabby old guy anyways. Ended up being James Earl Jones. Nice guy. But I don't know if you know this or not, but this movie was mainly shot in Utah. The Sandlot was. I watched a video on YouTube. I'll link it on the Facebook page for you guys, and on the description for. Actually, no, it's on the Facebook page. But anyways, so the field that the field was played on, actually is off limits right now because some crabby old guy owns the property and won't let people on it. So it's almost come full circle where, like, in the movie, the joke was, or the theme was, this guy's a crabby old guy. We can't get to that to get our ball back. And now you actually literally can't go to the filming location as of this was 5 years ago. So maybe he sold it or changed his mind. But yeah, so I was off limits. And I think that's absolutely crazy. You know how many people would pay, I mean, even $20 to go on that field? Like, I would pay money to go on the Sandlot field and just play catch with somebody. Like, like it's the Field of Dreams thing. Like,
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna play Dota. Can you blame him though for that? Having constantly having
no,
all these people show up every day of the week,
no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
having balls
okay,
more than likely hit into your house backyard. I
well, I
get it.
get that, but that's why you like charge people. Like, you're sitting on a gold mine right there.
Yeah.
Like, you could.
I can see both ways. I prefer it to be more open to the public, but I get why.
Well,
I
I
mean,
get
it's
it
just
too.
like all the other filming, like the Full House. They have all the signs up. They repainted the doors, everything. You go to, I believe, in New Mexico for Breaking Bad, that house too. Pretty much all these popular locations, people just don't want that tourist attraction, and everyone showing up
Yeah,
24/7 at their house. So I get why he would be crabby about it, but I agree. Open it to the public. You can charge money, you can make money.
and it's not like
You can even
a
throw like,
house.
yeah, like you can have a 4th of July tournament or something like
Yeah,
something cool. You could do something cool with it.
I mean, the only house that I can really think of that's open to the public is the Christmas Story house, uh, for movie sets. I mean, there might be more, but that's the only one I'm aware of. But yeah, for like fields and stuff like that, like, I mean, look at Field of Dreams. Like, that movie's 35 years old, and people are still traveling to middle of nowhere, Iowa, to go visit this place. So, like, it makes perfect sense to me to open it up to the public. And again, you're sitting on a gold mine right there. I'm not saying let people on there for free, but like, if you own it, open it up, let us on there. We'll pay you money. Like, people will come, Ray. People will come. I'm going to combine the two movies right there. And then finally, our number one movie. By the way, The Sandlot is available to watch on Disney Plus. Disney bought out Fox, and it's a Fox movie, I believe. So that is how it is on Disney Plus. My number one movie. I don't know if it's your number one movie. It might be. What sport is your number one movie? I'm kind of curious now.
Football.
Okay, yeah, we have different number one movies.
I think your number one might be my number two.
Oh yeah, you're on number two. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, because I want to hear it now, because you'll explain it better than me, and I don't want to ruin it because it is a great movie.
It is. And I actually almost played a scene from this movie for the opening too, because there's a speech in this movie that Kurt Russell gives.
Yeah.
That will make you want to run through a brick wall. And this movie is Miracle. Miracle is the story of the 1980 USA Olympic hockey team who defeated the mighty Soviet Union. The Russians had not lost a hockey game since 1960. And actually, ironically, this movie is based on a true story. So Kurt Russell played Herb Brooks in this movie, and Herb was in real life cut from the 1960 team. He was the last player cut from that team, and they ended up going out and winning gold medal. And he's watching the game with his old man on the TV, and his dad goes, "Well, it looks like they cut the right player," and that just like that ate him alive. Like, I mean, it had to have. And it basically motivated him to get back there in any way he possibly could. He ended up becoming a head coach. This wasn't in the movie or anything like that, but this is just a history lesson. He ended up becoming a head coach at the University of Minnesota, won national championships there, got the attention of the U.S. coaching, and they said, "Hey, we need a coach for the 1980 Olympics. You interested?" And he goes, "Yeah." And a little history lesson for you guys also. When you guys think of sports in the Olympics nowadays, you think of like Connor McDavid playing for Team Canada, or all these. I guess last Olympics the big guys didn't play, but like growing up, it was always the big guys playing for their country. It was not the case in 1980. It was amateurs. It was college kids or guys who just recently graduated from college playing for Team USA. While at the same time, the Soviet Union they basically, well, they didn't let anybody out of that country. So, and they didn't have the KHL at the time. This was it. This was their hockey. So they would basically call these guys army soldiers, and all they would do was train hockey, eat, breathe, sleep hockey. So Disney made a movie about it. It's an incredible story. And again, there's a speech in it that will make you want to run through a brick wall. It's a really good speech. So yeah, that is also on Disney Plus. My wife just watched it for the first time recently. She liked it. Gave it a 3.5 stars, which she gives every movie a 3.5 stars. So I know. Yeah. Movie critics, I don't like.
Wow, 3.5
Yeah.
stars for that movie.
Yeah, it's a 5-star movie.
It's definitely 5-star. One thing I will just add to that, that is my number 2. But one thing I will add to that is that wasn't even for the gold medal game. They had to defeat them to make it to the gold medal game.
Yeah, there was a chance they weren't going to make it or get a medal at all. They had to beat Finland. To secure and they were down in the real life. They were down, I think 1 or 2-0 to Finland, and Herb Brooks went in the locker room after the first or second period and just chewed into the boys and goes, "Hey, you guys are about to." I'm going to paraphrase very much so what was said because there was some not safe for workplace words being said, but he basically said, "You guys are about to blow your chance at a gold medal. You better wake up or else you're going to lose a medal." He said a lot less words than that, and he used a lot more expletives than that. But that's pretty much what he said.
Speaking of hockey, important playoff race update here. The Wings have just scored with 16-15 in the third. They are up 2-1 on Tampa Bay. They are in desperate of this 2 points that they really need. But yeah, Miracle's my number 2 movie. I knew you would have the best explanation for it. That's why I wanted you to say it. And my number 1 movie, you had this on your list. Remember the Titans. I feel like a lot of people should watch that movie today. Not to get too political or anything, but it has some great stuff in there that we probably should follow. Probably one of my favorite scenes is when they're up in doing training camp, Pennsylvania, and they run through Gettysburg, and I already forgot his name.
Is it Gary?
No. The coach. Oh, jeez.
I'll look it up for you.
The main dude. He's in all the movies.
Denzel.
Denzel. Yes. Holy
I
crap!
thought you were trying to think of the coach's name.
No. I could not think of Herm. What's his name? I could not think of the actor. Anyways, Denzel's character has a great couple lines in that movie or in that scene. Again, great movie. Anytime it's on, I'm gonna watch it. It's great. There's some funny stuff in there too at times too. Oh shoot, the big dude's name, I can't even think of it.
I can't think of his name either.
He has some good lines in there too. Especially when they're having lunch and he starts singing with not Reggie, but the preacher. And talks about his leopard print underwear and stuff, which is pretty funny. But anyways, Remember Titans is my number 1 movie.
My favorite line from that movie is the big guy. They're in the locker room, I believe, and he's walking to the locker room and he's holding his back, and they're like, "Man, what's wrong?" He goes, "Oh, I just gave your mom a piggyback ride. She weighs twice as much as I do."
Yes. Oh, that is great. I'm gonna look up his name because I want to do justice for him.
Oh, it was such a good time. The big guy is the same actor. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Boy Meets World, but if you remember, he was in that show. He was one of the bullies later on in the show that had a soft spot in his heart too. Yeah, but it's a really good movie.
Yeah, it's Ethan Suplee. He's definitely transformed his body now.
Yeah, he's
early years.
He's ripped now.
Yeah, he's like a muscle man. Again, that dude is hilarious. But again, great movie. Yeah, I love that movie. It's my number 1 movie. So
that is all we have for you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this movie series. We had fun making it. We had fun with talking to John Minch and we're trying to get a couple other guys for you guys. We're having some issues with that. Hopefully, we're able to work everything out. But either way, it's been a lot of fun just talking to these people off the air about their experiences on the movie and just their life. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you, John, again for everything you did for us during this series. We can never say thank you enough. John, if you guys haven't listened to that episode, it is pinned on Spotify. I know I say that every episode, but it was a great episode. We had a blast with him. He was in Moneyball, Little Big League, which we both had in our top 15, I believe. So Wednesday, though, for the show, we will be wrapping up our MLB preseason episodes by predicting, which I understand we're a week into the season now, but, we just ran out of time. But we're going to predict basically MVP, World Series champs, Cy Young, stuff like that. I haven't made the full list. I'll work on that here after we get off tonight and think of what we want to predict. But yeah, that is all we have for you guys tonight. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. If you have not yet, please subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Like us on Facebook. And if you have any questions or comments, shoot us an email at hardballsportstalk@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. And remember, ducks fly together.
Quack, quack, quack.